Mike McCarthy says, don't feel bad for me. Mike McCarthy says he isn't looking for pity. Don't feel bad for me. I'm in a great spot. I have the same approach every year. That's the way I've gone about it. His contract expires at the end of the season. So does Dak Prescott. Ocho, I would like things I've never heard people say for 1,000.
Right.
What is, I feel sorry for Mike McCarthy? Who in the hell said that?
Nobody at all. Cowboys fans probably feel sorry for Mike McCarthy.
No, they don't.
They got to feel sorry for him because.
Hey, I agree with Ocho, man. There will be a time that our Cowboy base, we will feel sorry for Big Mike because we can clearly see that, you know, he not given the full range of what he can and can't do. We understand that. His first year, of course, he had Kellen Moore. His second year, he had Kellen Moore. His third season here, technically, he still had Kellen Moore. And then the fourth season, we had the sabotage of the mindset with Dan Quinn. I really think that Dan Quinn thought that he was going to get that head coaching job, and he kind of moved that way towards the latter part of the season. The first 4 games, or you can say and argue all the way up until week 6, this was going to be Dan Quinn's team. If they were to fire Mike McCarthy, then it would have been Dan Quinn's team.
Because you got to understand what he has to deal with. He's powerless. His hands are tied behind his back. Yes, right. He is the coach of the Dallas Cowboys, but he can only do so much and really has no say-so. He's somewhat powerless, for lack of better terms to say. I feel bad for him. Why does everybody continue to come out and say things? Jerry says stuff. Now Mike McCarthy's saying stuff. Of course you're going to take the same approach that you've always taken. Maybe you need to do something different. As a coach of the Dallas Cowboys, maybe the results would be different come this season.
Let me tell you.
Look. I'm going to say this, though. There are plenty of ways where we can look back at this and say, the Cowboys want to win. Ultimately, the Cowboys want to win. My thing is, I believe that they don't know how to win. The last time they had the blueprint to win was with Jimmy Johnson. I think that the front office have great intentions. Grandma used to say back in the days, may she rest in peace, there's people in hell with great intentions. Meaning that you may think that you're doing something right and you're doing something ultimately wrong. The Cowboys, we are a team that can find talent. We know that. We are a team that can win in the regular season games. We know that. But when it's time to condense everything and everything is needed, when you need that one player to get you over the hump, when you need that other player to step up inside the gap, or if you need that other player to make plays on a consistent basis, the Cowboys fell flat on their face. You can argue the fact that Dak Prescott let this team down, but ultimately, in those big moments, in those crucial times, who else stood tall and everyone else fall? No one, right? So when you start to look at it, it's been a team that's been very successful during the regular season. And Mike McCarthy himself, he flipped this team around 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. We get all of that. But ultimately, we don't make enough moves to make that push over for the postseason, and I believe that is due to the philosophy. You got to get people that can be difference makers, force multipliers, and things like that. We've seen what the 49ers were able to do. They knew that they were a playoff kind of caliber team, so that's why they said, you know what, while we hot, let's go get a CMC so we can help alleviate some of the issues with the quarterback. On top of that, on the defensive side, just last season, hey, they already had Bosa there, and they went and got a Javon Hargraves. We can look at other teams as well. When you think of even the Kansas City Chiefs, they don't sit on their hands. They see somebody they want, they go make that move in free agency, and they don't play around with contracts and hold on to them forever. Just like when Chris Jones needed that bag, they went on ahead and paid him. They didn't stretch it out and say, do we pay or do we not pay? They went on ahead and paid their star and kind of caliber of players. We're seeing what the Ravens are doing. Now, the Ravens themselves, they haven't been back to the Super Bowl, but they are itching, and that's why they go out there and they make the crucial spots in those moments, even via the free agency. So we'll see what the Cowboys are going to do in the draft and beyond, but 9 times out of 10, they don't make the push for those extra pieces because they operate in the confines of comfort. all of the 31 other teams, they operate in the confines of uncomfort. They make it a situation whereas if you make the wrong move, you can get fired. The Cowboys don't move that way.
It's something I've never heard. I've never heard of a person owning an exotic snake, a cobra, a gaboon viper, or whatever the case may be, a venomous snake. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden they get bit and somebody say, you know what, I feel sorry for them. I've heard people say it serves you right.
Right.
Because you shouldn't have had the damn snake to begin with. Name the person that you've ever heard they own a lion, a tiger, or a bear, and they get mauled, and people say, damn, I feel so bad for them. Yeah. It serves you right. If you go coach for the Dallas Cowboys, nobody's gonna feel sorry for you because you know what you was getting into when you brought your funky ass in the house.
Yeah.
No doubt. Now that is truth right there. Oh my goodness. Hey, it is truth to that. That is truth to that. Nevertheless, man, I'm not finna sit back and say, Mike McCarthy, don't take the bag. That's just how it goes for the opportunity to coach for the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. Now, as far as feeling sorry, I'm not feeling sorry for Mike McCarthy. I may feel bad for the brother. God dog, I know what he had to go through. Well, I don't know personally, but we can see what he had to go through. We used to call him unsullied, because of the fact that they take them and they wipe them away. The last coach that gave a little pushback to the Joneses, we won the Super Bowl. With his philosophy, of course, because even within the confines of that, Barry Switzer, when he was coaching here, Troy Aikman and all of the other fellows said they had to win in spite of the coaching. Well, now, newsflash, these players got to win in spite of the coaching, plus the ownership. The only problem is with that, when you start to think of everything, where are these guys going to pull those resources from? See, Troy was able to pull that from Jimmy Johnson. Michael Irvin was able to pull that from Jimmy Johnson. Big Nate Newton and all of those boys were able to pull that from Jimmy Johnson. Look, it is what it is with this situation. But 9 times out of 10, the Dallas Cowboys, unless they catch lightning in a bottle, it's going to be hard for them to win multiple games in the playoffs and then get to the Super Bowl and win that. It's going to be hard because of the way the team is operating. That's just how it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know in the chat, do you feel bad for Mike McCarthy? Or excuse me, do you feel sorry for Mike McCarthy? Type a yes or a no in the chat. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's get it.